know the part where you feel all the shame?
The shame is much higher when you come out of VR. Big news this week. Lots of big news in the world of health this week. Very excited to cover some of this stuff. Yeah, this is so Sadie, our lovely patron, who's been with us for a while now. Always chiming in with the funnies over on Discord, and always seemingly DMing me on Instagram with the perfect timing right before we record with shit that we most certainly need to talk about on the podcast.
Do you think that Sadie has sleuthed?
I think she knows when we record.
She's done some sleuthing, and
she sent me 2 articles today. And I was like, whoa, both of these are going in the show. Thanks. So Sadie, thank you so much. We appreciate you and all that you do in terms of producing the podcast in the back end there. She sent me this, and I am fucking blown away that I didn't catch this before Sadie sent it to me. Psilocybin and MDMA approved for medical use in Canada.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, I saw the psilocybin bit a week or 2 ago.
I saw a post from Therasil, but I kind of like, I just kind of like breezed past like some sort of post that they made that was some sort of announcement, and I never really like caught it, but it must have been this. So Canada has amended federal regulations now, allowing patients suffering from life-threatening mental illnesses to be treated with MDMA and psilocybin. The active psychedelic chemical found in some mushrooms have been trialed and tested for years. We've been talking about this on the show for a long time now, and has now been approved for use beyond palliative care. So, you know, I think it was last year we had Thomas Hartle on, who was the first Canadian who was granted compassionate care use to use psilocybin for, he was terminal with cancer, and he was one of the first people in Canada to use it under like clinical supervision in order to help him with his anxiety surrounding end of life care, and you know, considering that he's palliative. But they've gone beyond that. It's no longer just for people in palliative care like Thomas Hartle, and now anybody who is living with mental illnesses that are severe will have the right to use both MDMA and psilocybin.
Wow.
Both
Sweet.
psilocybin and MDMA could also be approved for use if granted legal exemption from the country's health minister. Patients suffering from mental illnesses will now be able to access both drugs through the Special Access Program, which gives them help to those where therapy is otherwise unsustainable or hasn't worked. According to physicians, the drugs will only be allowed for use, quote, in a controlled, individualized fashion under conventional supervised therapy. The approval has taken years to come after it was first proposed in late 2020, later causing discussions and debates around the topic when the consultation was moved to the public, although the response was overwhelmingly supportive of the legal move. Quote, there has been emerging scientific evidence supporting potential therapeutic uses for some restricted drugs, most notably psychedelic restricted drugs such as MDMA and psilocybin, the Canada's government official communication stated. Published by the Canada Gazette, the communication also added that, quote, many submissions describe the mental health status of Canadians as being poor. They also commented that the existing treatment options for many mental health disorders are limited, relatively ineffective, and or accompanied by negative side effects. The breakthrough pharmaceutical approval will set a milestone in Canada's medical history and provide better information for countries across the globe to potentially follow suit in the years to come.
Does this remind you guys of when they legalized weed for medical use?
Yeah.
I should say.
Yeah, I mean, and
I don't really remember.
I mean,
When was that?
it was I mean, it was a number of years ago now. Like,
yeah, a
We
long
were
time ago.
children.
probably like
Yeah,
no, God,
For medical use.
yeah. It would have been like 15 years ago, maybe.
what? I was gonna say like 8-9 years ago.
I don't know. Let's. Should we ask Shmishmexa or something?
No, I don't think I can hear it with the headphones on.
You know, you know what's interesting about that strikes me, just in light of the conversation we just had, which if you're listening to this Friday, I'm not sure exactly when this will come out. We spoke to Quadjo on the podcast again, ICU doc, and it was about COVID, but broadly speaking, about like the discrepancy between the discrepancy between what we know about something versus the policy that is present.
Mhm.
And this is something for psilocybin. It's like there has been a massive gap between what we know about the compound and the policy that
Yeah.
surrounds it.
Yeah.
It's been demonized for a long time, just the same way that cannabis was. And then you realize, oh, there's all these auxiliary benefits to it. Not auxiliary is even too casual. Direct, measurable, profound impacts that it has.
Yeah.
Positive impacts that it has.
So, according to this list here, this is from CTV News. In 1996, California became the first state to legalize medical marijuana. In 1999, 2 Canadian patients get the federal okay to smoke pot. But it was in 2000 that courts ruled Canadians have a constitutional right to use cannabis as a medicine. And so that was 22 years ago.
22 years
Yeah.
ago.
Brian, do you remember that documentary? Dude, Joe Rogan was the narrator of it. It was on the underground pot business.
Yeah.
What was it called?
I know exactly.
It was
what
from
you're talking about.
the early to mid 2000s. It was called like The Biz or something like that. And it was basically
Isn't Mark Emery in it too?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was basically about like the underground business of cannabis. And it had a lot of talk about the medical benefits and blah, 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 which really all served for the precursor to what would become legalization. And I remember it was the head of the RCMP for BC who was talking a lot about like grow ops and all these things. And he said in that documentary, I think that cannabis will be legal in Canada within 10 years. Now that was probably like 2004, 2005, 2006 that documentary came out.
Yeah.
And I remember going, yeah, right.
Yeah.
So and then what, 2017 or 2018?
Yeah,
Then it was legal.
It was 2013 that new regulations changed in Canada, making medical access marijuana. They shifted the rules, shifting to licensed commercial growers for supply and away from homegrown. Some 37,800 people authorized to possess marijuana under the federal program, up from fewer than 100 in 2001. So I think that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, I think that's what I was thinking of too.
Yeah, so that was 2013.
Yeah. So do you think that this legalization for medical use in Canada of psilocybin and MDMA, do you think we'll see this sort of same thing happen with recreational use?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe not quite as fast. So we're looking at. Let's see here. Let's do the math. 2000, they ruled that the Canadians have a constitutional right to use cannabis as medicine, and then it wasn't until patients and producers authorized under the old regulations required to destroy stocks of pot. When was it? Like 2015?
2017, it was legalized.
2017.
Okay, so 17 years it took.
Yeah.
Now I bet you it would actually be probably quicker.
Faster because of cannabis.
Yeah, because cannabis
momentum.
probably set the precedent there.
It is interesting though, like the way that I remember in 2010, Taylor, when we went to Vancouver, we went by Mark Emery's cannabis culture shop, and the BC Marijuana Party headquarters was upstairs there on East Hastings Street, and I remember talking to somebody there as a 20-year-old, and they were talking about all the medicinal benefits of cannabis, and like as a 20-year-old who just smoked weed to get high, I was like, whoa, shit, no way,
That's crazy.
dude, it's so good for you. But then seeing firsthand the profound effect that it had on my mom when she was going through her cancer treatment, and like cancer, the drugs that treat cancer they wreak havoc on your body, and to see how shitty she was doing trying to deal with like having all those chemical drugs in her body that were making her better and curing her cancer.
It's still fucking her up.
But fucking her up so badly. And then the relief that she got when she was able to get medical marijuana, because that was in 2016, right before they legalized it. And so like seeing that effect that it had on her, and she wasn't, it wasn't even the THC getting her really high that made her better. It was like even the appetite to eat and like and all of these other things. But starting to view those drugs that I saw as these like amazing recreational fun things to do for the medicinal benefits that they have is so important. I mean, it's still fun to do them recreationally,
Yeah.
but like we do have to acknowledge the fact that these have profoundly powerful
Totally.
medicinal benefits.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, like I mean, we're seeing it now with mushrooms. You know, the and in a very similar fashion to what we saw with marijuana. Not so much with MDMA right now. Right now, I could go to a very like public, open source website and order a bottle of shrooms to just show up at my house. You know, like a bottle of microdose caps, psilocybin caps filled with lion's mane psilocybin, and it'll show up to my door in a matter of days. And there's like, it doesn't feel sketchy. I'm sure. I mean, obviously it's not legal, but it doesn't feel weird. Doesn't feel sketchy. And we saw the same thing with weed before weed became, like available here in Canada in like our liquor stores and, whatever. I think really we're just around the corner from seeing the same thing happen with mushrooms and Molly. Like, dude, we're right around the corner of like our grandparents being like, well, I guess I'm going to have some Molly.
Guys,
because it's a profound experience.
A profound, beautiful, fucking loving experience. Yeah.
I'm super bummed though, to be honest, about the biggest downfall to weed being legalized is that it takes the adventure out of getting high. Like the best part about getting high
meeting some
weed was
shady dude in an alleyway,
was buying weed in a parking lot of like a church.
Dude,
or
I
something.
saw a photo. I saw a photo of a kid. I won't say his name. I saw a photo of a kid that you used to coach in paddling, and he's probably like 20 years old. And him and a few of his friends, they had this tray on the table, and they had a ton of weed. It was like probably like 4 ounces of weed on this thing, and they were like busting it up, looking really stoned. And the caption on the photo was, "It's medicinal." And I went legal.
Yeah.
Also, totally fine.
Yeah.
It's funny because if you had like a table full of beers, nobody would ever like think twice about saying anything.
And that
like
is what you need to measure it against because it's legal.
Yeah,
It is. Yeah.
yeah, and in 15 years, kids that are being coached right now in paddling will be taking pictures of them just busting up a big mound of white powder, going medicinal.
Yeah. And then we'll all just be shooting heroin, and it'll be. God,
I was
it's gonna
talking
be
about Molly, but I mean, hey, maybe maybe all those drugs, maybe all drugs, maybe all drugs.
I mean, controversial as it is, I really do think that no drugs should be illegal.
No.
I think all it does is produce a black market that produces
Just
crime,
problems.
And if you can you don't have to say that it's even drugs that are objectively bad. If they'd be less bad if they were somewhat regulated.
Now, do you agree with throwing back to a recent FGF episode? Do you agree with the ban of cigarettes in New Zealand?
No, I don't.
Yeah, same principle.
Yeah, same principle.
Yeah.
I just think it'll create a vacuum for crime and
See, I believe that we should also ban fast food. I just think that
I don't.
I will benefit if we do.
You will, yeah. So you're
Dude, I'd be so sad if I
Speaking from a
wasn't
personal-
allowed to go buy a fucking McDouble with add bacon and extra pickles. I'd be
Think
so
about
sad.
how much healthier
Guys, don't
people
talk
would
about
be, though.
don't talk about food right now because
yeah.
because so we've talked about it on the podcast before. I used to have the worst gas, and I don't just mean that from like a comedy perspective. I know it is comedic because farts are funny, but I used to have gas, and I mean that like in a setting like this, I would feel like shit because I'm not just gonna fart up a nasty fart storm.
Yes, you fucking are.
I was like,
not all the time.
You
Well,
need a different example.
Maybe
I
with you
think.
guys. Okay, I'm out at Good Robot with a few people. I'm not gonna do it there,
Sure.
and I'm not gonna get up and go to the bathroom every fucking 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I just
You
end up
hold it in.
getting a tummy ache,
Ay,
and you
ay,
know
ay.
that when a boy gets a tummy ache, it's real bad news. And then that just went away, and I spent the last 8 months of my life in total euphoria.
And
I also
you were saying I want to kind of try to pinpoint this a little bit because I remember you came in one time and you were like, guys, my farts, like they're gone, like they don't stink
Gone.
anymore, they're gone. And and we were like, so what do you think it was? And you were like, I don't know, but I've been taking a bunch of these pills, like fertility based pills, because it was when you and Kyler were doing the IVF stuff. And you were like, I think it might be because of all these like
supplements
that you were taking.
Also, I just want to say,
but now you're not taking the supplements.
But I haven't been taking the supplements for many months.
I think we're doing the listeners a disservice right now by not emphasizing how fucking bad.
Like, I
brutal.
can't smell anything.
your
brutal.
farts
Like, I
are.
do not have a sense of smell because of my CF. I can smell your
It causes
your fucking ass.
it causes severe psychological distress to Jeremy.
Yeah.
And so I had a period of about 8 months where it was completely gone away. And I noticed obviously that it went away, but it was like January 1 or January 2. I was like, I had a day where I had bad gas, and I thought to myself, oh, I hope my farts aren't back. Now it's been a week and I feel like shit.
Well, do you think
day.
you were like eating like shit and stuff over the holidays? Like
no, not really. Like not, I mean, not as good as I usually do, but not brutal. And I was thinking about that, and I couldn't really find anything. And now it's been a week, and now in contrast to having not had that issue for the last 8 months, I feel horrible. And so today I'm doing a 24-hour fast that I started. I ate breakfast this morning, and I decided after that, because I felt like shit, I'm not going to eat for 24 hours. I'm just going to try to flush my system and see what happens, see if I feel better, and then start from scratch and
reset the biome in your belly. Yeah, I hope that works for you, because fortunately I haven't been
For our sake.
You haven't farted in here yet, but if you do, dude, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
But that's the thing too. It's
I'm
in the
leaving.
morning. It's in the morning, and it's at night,
Yeah.
and it's not during the day.
Because you're being vulnerable,
Kyla.
sharing that story,
I
I
am
feel
being
like
vulnerable. Thank
I
you.
should be vulnerable and share my story too.
Oh, don't worry, bro. I have the photo ready to go.
Oh no, you don't. No, you didn't.
No, I don't. I
Okay.
didn't. I didn't.
Yeah. That's really funny.
I sent, and you know what? I honestly think I was fairly courteous, because I texted you guys this morning
At 8 a.m.
a photo of I was I just had a bowel
Oh,
movement.
I can read the text.
And I want to say, I let you know what I was about to send you. Whereas the times, Jer, where you've sent photos of your shit,
I don't
I've
do
always
that.
been caught off guard.
go-
by
You don't
that.
not do it.
At 8:27 a.m., guys, I need to send you a picture of my shit, but I want to warn you first. Also, I need you to tell me if you think this is okay. Also, Taylor, you're going to be covered in shit in a few months anyway, so consider this a warm-up. Dude, the photo you sent me, I thought it was a joke. I opened it, I went, that's not shit.
Right?
You literally just sent me a toilet bowl full of spinach.
It isn't shit.
Full
It's just spinach.
and when I say full of spinach, I don't mean like full of spinach that came out of someone's ass. I mean like it looks like you just took a handful of perfectly good non-wilted
I
spinach
know,
leaves
right?
with stems attached and just dropped them
Okay,
into a
this
bowl.
is why this is fucked up too. So last night I've been
My
ordering.
response, hold on, my response to that photo was simply, LOL, dude, try chewing next time.
which is really funny. I laughed really hard. But the funny thing is that I've been getting chef's plate boxes, and I made the one pan braised chicken, Greek chicken, last night, which was great. It
Actually,
was
so hold on, we actually got to throw to our
ad
chef's
for
plate
it,
ad
yeah.
and insert here.
Okay. And yeah, so anyway, it was really tasty, and
Good.
it was with orzo, and it was all made in this pot or pan with a bit of water in it, so it was like sort of like creamy, and the spinach was put into it, and the spinach was cooked, and so it was like wilted up like spinach does when you cook it.
Yeah, you shot
so-
it out fresh.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Wait, isn't that remarkable?
It is.
It's a slightly darker green.
Which
Yeah, I
is
suppose.
crazy, because
It's more like
last,
a puke green rather than a vibrant
Yeah, yeah.
summer green.
because
Yeah.
last night we were
It
playing.
was it was wet. That's all. It was in a wet bowl.
Jared, last night we were
That's all.
we were playing VR together, and I was saying that on my stomach.
I told Brian,
It
I
was-
told Taylor we're playing VR. We're playing this game called Population 1 together, which is like basically
Very fun.
like war. So we're going around like shooting guys, and we need the full team to like do the job that we're trying to do, which is survive. And Brian's like, oh fuck, guys, I'll be right back. I gotta go shit. And he leaves, and me and our friend Nathan were like, oh well, I guess like it's just two of us for a second. Brian comes back very quickly. Nathan's like, whoa, dude, that was quick. 2 minutes later, Brian's like, oh god, guys, gotta go again.
Guys,
was like, what
thank
the
God,
fuck?
thank God for insert second ad here for my tushy, because I was able
Yeah,
to clean so
yeah.
quickly that I was
so
able to
quickly.
get in and
It
out
is-
really
it
quick.
is great.
But I think it was I think something that I ate must have made my stomach a bit off, so I didn't properly digest that spinach. But
No, man, you didn't chew it.
do you think that's why I felt so shitty last night?
Yeah, dude, dude, the photo is just perfectly good spinach.
Also, it was like full,
not even like
It wasn't-
holes in it.
It wasn't wilted.
Yeah.
Why
yeah.
wasn't it wilted?
I know, right?
It's like you
Right?
took it's like you took spinach
This
and
is a
then you
que- this-
wilted it while it cooked, and then it unwilted in your
I know.
digestive
This
tract.
is a question. This is a question for our listeners who work in the medical field, gastrointestinologist, or whatever the fuck your job would be called. Why? How?
We
And
should
for
also
me,
Letters at sickboypodcast.com.
why and how?
guys, I will say too,
Let's move
just
on
for
from the shit and
anybody
the farts.
just for anybody who really wants to see the photo, maybe we should just put it in the graphic content channel on our
Yeah, let's do that on our
Discord,
Discord. Yeah.
Because it's
yeah.
not even poop.
I know, right? It's not that bad to look at. I mean, anyway.
Which of course at this moment only our patrons can see that. So if you really want to see Brian's shit, you know where to go. This is another crazy story in the news in the world of health. You guys might remember in October of last year, I brought to a Feel Good Friday episode a story of a hospital in New York, NYC Langone, I think it was called. There was a surgeon who performed the first successful transplant of a pig organ, which was a kidney. They attached this kidney to a person who was not going to live, but they were given permission by this patient's family to transplant the kidney onto the person, and just to see if they could, if the kidney would work for the last few days that this person was still technically alive. It was a success. It was the first of its kind. Now, in the past, we have transplanted. As if I had anything to do with it, we have transplanted
We as a species.
pig valves and pig skin, which has been successful. But like an internal organ, like a full kidney, this is the first time that anything like this has ever happened. Well, this week, in first surgery of its kind, Maryland man receives heart transplant from genetically modified pig. So a 57-year-old Maryland man with life-threatening heart condition has become the first person in the world to successfully receive a transplanted heart from a genetically modified pig, sparking optimism that similar procedures could save the lives of thousands of Americans waiting for organs. So you might remember
Crazy.
that the kidney that was in the pig was from a company that genetically modified the pigs. And that's how it worked. So they kind of break this down of how this works in this article here. This is from the Washington Post, but this was fucking everywhere.
Guys, is this fucked?
I love it. I think it's fucking amazing.
Is it fucked? I mean, it's
oh yeah, it's
fucked
fucking
like,
it's
crazy.
weird science, dude.
It's crazy that we've figured out how to
Yeah.
do it.
And we still haven't figured out COVID therapeutics, right?
Yeah,
David-
Yeah, where are priorities, man?
David Bennett received the heart on Friday at the University of Maryland Medical Center in Baltimore and was doing well. Doctors at the hospital and elsewhere had deemed Bennett ineligible for a human heart transplant after reviewing his medical records, leaving the experimental surgery as his, quote, only option for survival.
Whoa, what do you think was wrong with his medical records?
That he couldn't take a human heart. But they were like,
Yeah.
well, let's try a pig
Oh,
heart.
he had a.
You know?
I actually read he had a heart condition for heart failure, and so it was deemed that it would have been a waste of
Oh,
a,
interesting.
of a heart
'Cause
of a human heart transplant.
Okay, that-
I mean that sounds crass to say, but
Yeah.
that it would have that the heart would have ultimately gone to waste.
Yeah.
Interesting, because so that must have been the New York Times article, because in this one, in the Washington Post, it said it did not specify what disqualified him. Quote, it was either die or do this transplant, Bennett said in the statement
Whoa.
before the surgery. He said, quote, I want to live. I know it's a shot in the dark, but it's my last choice. The Food and Drug Administration granted emergency authorization for the historic procedure on New Year's Eve through its
Shit.
compassionate use provision that allows experimental products to be used outside of clinical trials in cases where the patient has a serious or life-threatening condition. Bennett had been bedridden for months, hospitalized with arrhythmia, an irregular heartbeat, and connected to a machine to keep him alive. On Friday morning, surgeons removed the heart from the pig, which was previously Revivicor, a regenerative medicine company based in Blacksburg, Virginia, and put it in a device to preserve it until it was transplanted into Bennett. So video released by the hospital showed the device, a container about the size of a microwave, being brought into the operating room on a cart. Here's some footage from the actual transplant itself. A very short piece of footage.
It's like a comedy syringe.
And of course, we're watching this on YouTube. If you want to check the podcast out on YouTube, you can see all the visuals.
Did you see the size of that syringe?
I know
It
the
was
syringe. It was really funny.
This says Bennett was ineligible for a human heart transplant or pump due to a heart failure condition and an irregular heartbeat.
Oh,
So the arrhythmia played into it then.
Yeah.
Um,
I thought it was going to be something more along the lines of like he wasn't eligible because it was done at Christmas time and he had been a bad boy throughout the year,
Yeah.
and like
He
he
was
was,
on the
gonna
naughty
get a
list,
lump
yeah.
of coal, but
Yeah.
he just instead got
Santa was
a
like,
pig heart.
well, you were naughty, so you don't get human heart.
That's how it works, children.
That's right. Elf on the Shelf is watching. He will fucking ruin your options
he will.
for transplant.
Santa's not real.
Quote, it is nestled in its little preservation chamber waiting for our call to action. Bartley P. Griffith, the surgeon who did the transplant, said in a video before the surgery. So this is a photo of Dr. Griffith and the patient, Mr. Burnett, right here. Skin and heart valves from pigs.
Dude, that guy looks like the type of guy who would wake up from the surgery and then
Go straight to Vegas.
start yes, he does. Or start oinking and go, oh, I guess I'm a pig now.
Yeah,
Like some
exactly.
shitty dad joke.
Skin and heart valves from pigs, which are in some ways biologically similar to humans and primates, making them ideal candidates for transplants, have been successfully transplanted into humans in the past, like I said. A type of virus carried in pig cells that could infect human cells had long prevented full organ transplants, but researchers in 2015 successfully used CRISPR to remove the virus from the pig's cells' DNA. So that CRISPR technique was used to basically knock these cells out, allowing these organs to potentially work in humans. The pig whose heart was transplanted into Bennett had 3 genes knocked out that would have caused the organ to be rejected, and that pig's name was Babe. That's
Actually?
no. 6 human genes that induce the organ can be accepted by the recipient's immune system were inserted. So Griffith said in a statement that the breakthrough procedure, quote, brings us one step closer to solving the organ shortage crisis, which is a huge problem in the U.S. More than 106,000 people are on the organ transplant waiting list in the U.S., according to the federal government, which says that 17 people in the country die every day waiting for transplant.
This is something that was in the snippet that I read this morning. Was also really interesting, just in terms of transplantation and how it will work for human organ transplant, or any type of transplant. Was the team at the University of Maryland Medical Center also used a new drug made by Kiniksa Pharmaceuticals to help prevent the organ from being rejected by the patient's body. So possibly like a new
anti-rejection drug. Yeah, interesting. And which,
because that's the problem with rejection.
Yes.
Or sorry, that's the problem with transplant.
yes,
transplants.
like I could get lung transplant from a human, but my body might just reject it. So I wonder if that new drug would actually even help folks who are getting transplants from human donors as well, you know, in the long run, because that's a huge issue. I found this to be fucking fascinating. In perhaps the most famed attempt at animal to human organ transplanting, a heart from a baboon was transplanted into a newborn girl known as Baby Faye in 1984. The surgery was seen as a long shot at the time, and fears that the child Stephanie Faye Beauclair would reject the heart were realized 21 days later when she died of complications, including kidney failure. Bennett said, I look forward to getting out of bed. So
how do you know it's Bennett?
Bennett, probably Bennett.
Did he oink too?
Yeah.
Brian's really hoping for a dad.
He didn't
joke.
oink. He squealed though. He squealed. I look forward to getting
I
out of
look
bed.
forward to getting out. He squealed.
You guys got any shit I can roll around in?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got it.
How funny though would it be if you just started living real slop like You know, like
You're
he just
acting
starts
like
eating.
a pig.
He starts eating out of a trough.
Dude, this is a direct to DVD movie.
Yeah, totally. So another thing that I wanted to talk about this week was, you know, we've done a couple of episodes in recent past where we talked about concussions. You know, we spoke to Danny, who was in a pretty severe car accident and left her with a concussion. One of our Patreon exclusive live shows was with an incredible guest who was electrocuted and was left with a electrocution based concussion.
Crazy story.
So crazy, and we're going to be bringing that episode to the public soon. But all this talk about concussions made me think about this video right here. Do you think that this guy has a concussion?
1, 2, 3.
No, that's not real.
Oh my god.
It is real.
Dude.
It is real. So what we're seeing?
Whoa.
Oh my God.
So what we just saw, for those of you that are just listening,
What was the caption on the video?
it was something to the degree of like a new and unique way to put NOS to use. So this guy was in an office chair. The office chair is anchored by two pulley systems that are like attached to, like, you know, walls or whatever. And the guy is sitting in an office chair with full on like protective gear, like a helmet and coveralls. And there's 2 bottles of NOS, which is the bottle of nitrous oxide that goes into cars to make them go really fast. And they lit off the bottles of NOS, which then propelled him into a death spiral. And this guy, like,
Should
we
he's
watch it
probably-
again?
yeah,
he's
watch
probably
again. This
going at-
guy's spinning at like he's spinning at like 200 miles per hour.
Whoa. Yeah.
Dude, what do you think he was doing? What do you think he was doing? Probably at max speed. Probably.
I think
like,
that's
probably
fake.
like 100 RPM.
No, it's
Wait, play it
legit.
one more
That's
time.
like
I just wanna
some
see that.
oh, again. Okay, here we go.
There's
You
one
gotta
more
watch
time,
this on
yeah.
YouTube, folks.
1, 2.
It's some sort of jackass shit.
Yeah. Because he looks like he almost just becomes a sandbag.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's so much G-force there that his body just goes into like fucking ragdoll mode.
Yeah.
I don't
'Cause
like it.
Because the centrifugal force would be trying to like propel him out.
So the question is, do you think he got a concussion from that?
Well, I think his brain turned into scrambled eggs.
Did he got a
Because it doesn't
concussion?
show him at the end. I feel like he died.
No, I wouldn't have said that he would have gotten a concussion from it. I would have said that he got a very severe neck injury.
My thought is that because the way his legs are, I think most of the like damage-based force would be at the extremities of his legs, so his feet. Because you see the way his legs are out.
He got taller for sure.
His head was just spinning in pretty much one place.
Mhm.
I think his feet got fucked up.
So this was all just like a. Do you guys think he got a concussion? That was it.
yeah. I mean, I didn't really think about much of it. I just saw it and went, I'm gonna put that in the show.
Have you been scrolling TikTok?
No. That came across my Instagram feed, I think.
That's really funny.
Let us know in the comments below, folks. What do you think? Do you think you got a concussion? Do you think it's real? Would you do that? Would you do that?
You guys remember when I sent you guys the video of the guy on top of the helicopter
That was fake.
thing moving,
Yeah,
and I was like, guys, is this?
Yeah, that was
real?
not real. No.
It was not real, and I felt stupid.
Next week, I'm really looking forward to the routine checkup episode that we are putting out. It was from a company in Malaysia called Wonderleaf, and they created the world's first unisex condom, and it was a fascinating conversation about sexual health, about the process of getting approval for a new medical device that is within the realm of sexual health. And we spoke with the father-daughter physician duo that were behind the product. But to kind of like prep you for that episode, we talked about a few things. We talked about the unisex condom. We also talked about this thing called the cap condom, which is the same idea as the unisex condom, but it's only meant for the cap is only meant for the penis, but it's pretty much the same product, just not quite as robust, I guess.
Like that would have been revolutionary.
Yeah.
Like, because if you're with a partner and you're not worried about sexually transmitted diseases, but you don't want to have a child.
Yeah.
Like if you had a condom that didn't cover your whole penis.
Yeah, the
Holy
penis.
shit.
You just
Yeah,
put
that's
on
great.
the penis beanie.
So when we talked about
Yeah.
it on the conversation, you kind of have to see it to
hard
really
to-
wrap
yeah,
your head around it.
yeah.
So I actually have a video here, which is a video on how to put on the
Oh my
cap
God.
condom. So again, the unisex condom is pretty much the same idea, except it's a lot longer. But you can see here, you wrap it around the dick.
I wish
And
my
it's
pubes
just
looked like
adhesive.
that.
I know those pubes are unbelievable.
This music is really good.
Hey, you pull the pubic hairs out of the way, and then you just wrap it around. Like it really looks like saran wrap. It's
Yeah.
just like a saran wrap your dick, and then you're having a good time.
It seems like it's quite the process, to be honest, though. Right now,
It definitely is not as quick as a rolly. So that's for folks. Just to give you a little bit of a sort of a
So
pre
interesting.
a sort of preview into the conversation ahead. But the other thing that we talked about that was so fascinating.
A bit of like a pre-cum.
Yeah, a little bit of pre-cum before the main show.
fuck off, guys.
But the other thing we talked about was this catheter that they created.
yeah,
And
that's cool.
I thought this was really interesting. So this catheter is it's an attachment, like a condom-based attachment, and you can see here again. We're watching this on YouTube. It's like a pouch that goes over the head of the penis. And say you're in the hospital and you're bedridden, you can't actually get up to go to the bathroom. Getting a catheter shoved all the way up your ding dong is not very fun.
Holy shit, dude! Just thinking about it, man, makes
Yeah.
me weird.
And so what they've created here is basically this catheter that it's a catheter attachment. So you can see on the right, this thing goes over the head of the penis and it just sits there as like a cap. And you actually don't need the catheter to go into the penis. You can just attach a catheter tube to the tip of this thing. And then, you have to pee. You just pee into the funnel, essentially.
Mm.
See, I see this as being very problematic for the sounding community because as folks who enjoy sticking things in their dick holes, this is
Takes all the fun away from
Yeah,
it.
but it's optional.
It's optional.
Like
Yeah.
I say,
This is for the people who aren't into the sounding community.
okay.
Like I said,
when you say it that way, it makes more sense.
I said in the episode with our friends at Wonderleaf that when I was in the hospital, if I wanted to pee, I didn't have a catheter, so in my case, if I wanted to pee, I had to roll over, which was excruciating.
Yeah.
because my pelvis was broken,
Mhm.
and that was horrible. And with this, I don't have to have the catheter, and I don't have to move to pee in that situation where I'm dealing with broken bones. I can just stay there, and it
Just
will
lay on your back.
and it's a tube that just
Yeah.
directs it. Yeah, like I was going, wow, that would have been extremely helpful for me.
I mean, my favorite use of this is what Brian said, which is be great for gamers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You don't
And-
want to get
and-
up from
and-
your gaming seat. You
yeah.
just stick that thing in, piss into your.
and road tripping.
Road
See,
trips.
I need them to make a one for pooping then too, so that I don't have to miss any game time with the boys. You know.
Yeah.
There's so many problems to be solved out there. Like this is weird. And we talked about me fasting for 24 hours earlier, and I'll kind of bring that up for 1 second again. But when I eat during the day, I love food, but in the work day, like I get into a zone where I'm like, I don't want to do anything but what I'm doing. And food is just a distraction to me during the day. And fucking going to the bathroom is a distraction. Like I just go, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm
Like you could be so much more productive if you didn't have to worry about that stuff.
yeah. And
Yeah.
actually and in a weird way, because I wasn't hungry then,
Yeah.
this morning when I was like, oh, I'm going to do a 24-hour fast, there was a part of me that went, sweet. I don't have to fucking eat today.
It's funny.
And I meant that from like a productivity,
It's funny to
wasting
me-
time.
It's funny to me that
perspective.
you've made this realization, but you haven't done anything to take care of it, because like all you need is diapers taken care of.
Yeah.
All
but
you need is a feeding tube
Messy,
shoved
dude.
up your nose
Easy.
into your belly.
Yeah.
taken
diapers
care
are
of,
messy.
Yeah.
you know,
And feeding tube and feeding
or Soylent. Just buy a fucking Soylent and
Soylent's
drink it.
probably the best way to go.
You know? You're gonna be. I mean, Kyla's gonna be squirting Soylent out of her titties like for months
Yeah.
on end. Like, just get her to do a pump and dump whenever she's got the too much alcohol in her system or
Like
whatever.
any,
And
like any excess goes to me.
Yeah.
And then I just don't eat.
yeah,
solid food.
she goes. The baby can't have this. I had 2 glasses of wine,
Right.
for breakfast.
So then, yeah.
Typical Kyla.
Right.
And she just pump and dumps to you, and you go, sweet. I've got my lunch and my dinner for the day.
That's actually not a bad idea.
I know.
I know you're joking.
No, I'm not. I'm saying you've got answers to your questions.
I've got the mother's
You've got
milk.
solutions.
If your newborn child, like that is the best food that they can possibly have, it's got to be good enough for you, right?
I
Like
mean,
this
hell
morning,
yeah,
I had
dude.
2 pieces of bread with butter. Like
Yeah.
some people call that toast.
yeah,
That's what I had for breakfast.
Yeah. Man, if I had a source for breast milk, not only would I be making jewelry out of it, I'd also be drinking it on a regular basis.
I think
You
we
know
have
what?
to be worried about Jeremy possibly holding. Holding.
Oh, you better
somebody-
not bring that shit in this office, because
Holding somebody
I will fucking drink it.
I think you might be
Honestly,
holding somebody hostage. in
I
your-
think it would
in your
be.
condo,
I think
producing
breast milk. I think breast milk would work perfect for popsicles.
Well, there was the company in the UK that made the breast milk ice cream.
What did
There
they
you go.
call it?
That's right,
What was
yeah.
it? Was there a name for it? This has got to be a better name than breast milk ice cream.
Big Mommy Milker's Delight or something like that.
Yeah.
I think so. I thought this
Big
was
Mommy
Oh, this is dumb.
Um,
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
So here's an interesting article. This is from Boston Magazine. Actually, this was posted to Twitter from our good buddy Mark Hennick, who's always out there doing great advocacy work for the mental health community. The title of this article is, I love this. Your children could learn to control their emotions with a video game. It's called Rage Control, and it's part of a study at Mass General. A clinical trial underway at Massachusetts General Hospital is teaching children how to use video games in a brand new way. The technique is called Rage Control, and it helps kids regulate their emotions and heart rate using a video game, which interacts with the user through a heart rate monitor.
Dude, this is old as shit. My brother and I did this when we
so
were
dismissive.
my brother and I did this when we were kids. We played video games together, and the person that would lose would just would go into this level of rage that was unlike anything you could
This is
ever
called
imagine.
Rage Control.
And,
Brian.
and my brother, one time he took his foot, he smashed the PlayStation 2 when I beat him in a game of FIFA. He just smashed it, and then his rage was controlled. Like,
Yeah, no.
it was like that rage room
I
is
think
down the
that's-
street.
I
I
here
think this
in-
is a
in
little
Ottawa.
bit different.
Whatever.
Carrie Vaudreuil, an assistant in psychiatry at Mass General and the study's principal investigator, says Rage Control was originally developed by researchers at Boston Children's Hospital who studied the method in combination with a type of cognitive behavioral therapy called anger control therapy.
Hmm.
The name itself stands for regulate and gain emotional control, unlike Dennis.
Oh,
Now, Vaudreuil is conducting her own study. The research began in 2015 and is set to finish this year. Participant enrollment ends in May, possibly June. Quote, the hope was that having kids participating in these techniques while playing a video game might help them translate using the techniques into daily life.
yeah.
The techniques in question include deep breathing, which has proved particularly effective, imagining a favorite place or peaceful garden, counting to 10 to slow the mind, and mindfulness exercises. These skills are then applied to the video game in which players compete to shoot red asteroids before they hit the Earth, while allowing blue asteroids to pass. As children play the game, they wear heart monitors on their wrists. Now, I read this and I was like, dude, that game does not seem like the game that could be like optimally used for this. Like they should be playing any FromSoft game, like the Souls series, where you just, you're going to die 7,000 times before you beat the first boss of 20. Like you just lose.
Guys,
Like,
how jacked does your heart rate get in the Warzone Final Circle.
Oh,
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
how jacked does your heart rate get in Population 1 in VR?
It does, yeah.
Especially when you're
Super
climbing.
jacked. Man, we got such a good workout climbing the reactor tower last night. It was
Oh my
really great.
Oh my god, shut the fuck up.
I imagine that it'd be pretty stressful letting
It's actually true.
what
I was sweating, dude. I was sweating.
the red asteroids defending those, but then letting the blue asteroids through. Do they just smash into the planet and kill everybody?
No,
when
the
you let
blue
them
asteroids come through, and then once they've passed you, they break off into lettering that basically just says like you're a bitch.
And they've got and they're rich in raw materials.
Suck a cock. I mean, it's the same stuff that you would hear playing video games online,
Yeah.
but
Oh
it's
my
just
god, guys! The things that get said in video game
oh,
lobbies,
so
it's
toxic.
crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
If you want to
is
know
bananas.
if racism is alive and well,
play
video
Play
games.
online
Yeah.
video games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is wild.
Quote, so if you are approaching your threshold heart rate, it turns yellow. Sorry. When you're actually playing the game, there's a feedback on the screen, basically a ring that changes color. So if you're approaching your threshold heart rate, it turns yellow. And if you exceed your threshold heart rate, it turns red. If the child is unable to lower his or her heart rate, signifying that his or her emotions are out of control before the ring turns red, the game stops. It's kind of a cool idea.
that's
You know, it's like you're in the yellow, you better like cool it. Oh, you're in the red, like time to breathe. To breathe. The game, made by a company called Neuromotion, also has a function called purple comets, during which a purple comet appears on the screen and changes the color a player needs to shoot down. This forces the child to quickly adapt to changing rules and environments without panic. Baudrillard hopes that, depending on the outcome of the trial, the video game could either work as an accompaniment or a replacement for therapy. Quote, some families can't get their kids to therapy. Some families can't find a therapist. Some kids refuse to go to therapy, she says. What we're trying to do is see if we can cut the therapy out and just teach relaxation skills and have them play the game and see if that is helpful.
So I see what's going on here. They're training kids to no longer have emotions so that they can more easily control them when they grow up.
yeah,
Yeah, we're creating the perfect soldier.
yeah,
This is it.
yeah. The winter,
This is the beginning.
The winter
This is
soldier.
the beginning.
That
I think that's really cool.
Honestly, I think my brother's way was more effective in helping him regulate his emotions.
Yeah, but that's so expensive because you gotta get a new PS2 every
You're right, yeah,
every
it's-
fucking odd month.
You're
Video
right.
games are so interesting because like they can produce such rage, but they're also so helpful for your cognitive.
Oh my
growth.
god,
It's crazy.
I mean,
yeah.
this is just one of, I truly think like many applications of what video games can do for people on a whole spectrum of taking care of a whole spectrum of issues.
Like when I think about putting a kid in front of Zelda Ocarina of Time in like 1996
yeah,
and going, figure this
yeah,
out.
puzzles.
Yeah.
Like
That is hard.
use your mind.
and
yeah.
that takes a lot of fucking brain power
It's like
to
or
accomplish that.
taking a kid, putting them in front of Grand Theft Auto 6 and going, don't kill innocent people.
Is Grand Theft Auto 6 coming out?
Or-
Grand Theft Auto 5.
don't run out of money, and then they have to
Yeah,
be,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
very like
Yeah.
they
Capitalism.
the economy and stuff.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is like if you had a video like the same functions and puzzles that you solve in a video game, if that was in a textbook and somebody just did it with a pencil, and a parent saw their kid sitting down and solving those puzzles for 4 hours in a row, they would be like,
Praise.
"Oh my god, my
Yeah.
kid!"
That's why
is a
that's why the
genius." But
parents
That's
whose-
what video games.
That's why the
is.
parents whose kids
Are.
play like pen and paper RPGs are like, yeah,
but not
cool,
ex-
sweet,
but
yeah,
not
you're fucking
exclusive,
sick,
but
yeah.
not exclusively. Like they obviously do have risks or harms associated
Yes.
with them where you can become overly obsessed and be and have anger be induced when
Anyone
when
out
you-
there
they
who
get taken
doesn't
away.
who says
Yeah.
that video games aren't addictive
sure, yeah.
is lying.
Yeah, they
straight out of their
they
ass.
they
I
definitely
totally agree,
are.
and I also don't necessarily mean like I was using 4 hours as an example for sitting in front of the book. Not that I think it's healthy to sit in front of video games for 4 hours.
I
in a
would
row,
never do that.
though. I would
Play video games for 4 hours
I
straight.
would never do that either.
Minimum 8.
I mean, I do look at. I mean, some games. I mean, obviously, every game it's game dependent. But I think, and I look at Zelda as like a really good example of like
It is. It is a great example.
of an example of a game that
Portal.
is like
Portal
it
would
doesn't
be, that would be a
have-
good one.
it doesn't have like the violence
Yeah,
that a lot of parents are worried about.
Yeah.
But it's got this like really complex solving problem component to it. it's incredibly fun.
Yeah. That's what's so great about like the Oculus and like these new VR platforms is that a big portion of the market of games that exist in that ecosystem are puzzle solvers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they're not quite as big on like consoles, right? So like there are puzzle games sure on PlayStation and Xbox and PC, but VR just is such a great portal for puzzle games.
It's so immersive.
It's so immersive, and it's like this escape room in your living room, and I mean, like if I had a kid right now, like my nephew's Natasha, her son's just got an Oculus, and they were here at the studio the other day, and I was like, guys, give me your they brought their Oculus. I just loaded up their Oculus with a bunch of amazing puzzle games, and I was like, yeah, this is gonna be so good for you.
Yeah.
You know?
And then there's VR porn.
It's crazy.
Guys,
Guys, VR porn. Have I told you about it yet?
No,
have
I haven't.
Have I talked to you guys about it
haven't-
yet?
I haven't checked it out, but please tell me about
You've
it.
had an Oculus
Brian
for
doesn't-
like 3 months.
dude. Brian doesn't watch porn.
I have a girlfriend.
I have a girlfriend and a wife.
Dude, shut the fuck up.
Not a competition.
And that's why, because of that, that's why you're into this pornography.
Dude, stop it. It is fucking weird.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Is it too immersive?
Too immersive?
At first it was.
Really?
Yeah, actually, like the first time I did it, I came out of it and I was like, I don't know. That was a lot.
See, the moment
Now I'm like,
Now you're settled.
I'm good.
guys, the moment when you finish jerking off and you come and then you just feel a little bit of disappointment in yourself.
The disappointment.
It's got to be way worse
Yo,
when you have a fucking
it is.
VR
It is.
goggles on.
It is. The disappointment is.
You know the part where you feel all the shame?
The shame is much higher when you come out of VR. I gotta say.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet whether you're sitting there naked or like sitting there and you just got a fucking
Yeah.
VR headset
Yeah,
on.
man.
You're looking for your fumbling for your
You do.
controllers.
You feel like a
your
total.
hand-
Yeah, dick out. Can't find the controller. You feel like a total piece of shit. It is honestly. It's so.
Honestly, I've been meaning
it's
to
so
try that
shameful.
Oh my
But
God.
it's quite fun. Speaking of porn, let's get on to this week's edition of What the Hell?
Is it actually porn related?
Yes, it is.
Interesting.
Do you guys know?
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of spoiled a little bit. Do you guys know who this is?
I do not.
no.
Do you know what she's holding there?
A really wide butt plug?
It looks like a one of those fish that beta fish.
So this is Stephanie Matto or Motto. She's holding a bottle. There's a rose petal in that bottle. And
That's a butt plug
she
for sure,
was she gained fame as a former 90 Day Fiancé star. And I'm going to tell you, I'll tell you, you'll probably get it now, but
This isn't the NFT girl, is it?
no, but she does have something to do with NFTs.
And
oddly enough.
farts?
Yep.
I know about this.
Oh, no.
So this.
Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you a day in the life of a girl who sells her farts in a
I
jar.
know about this story.
So I
Oh.
like to get things rolling with some beans, a protein muffin,
Shut the
sometimes
fuck
even
up.
a yogurt, less sugar is better, some hard-boiled eggs, and today I decided I was going to make myself a protein shake with some yogurt added to it, and I was feeling it for sure. While I wait for those farts to develop,
Taylor,
I
you're not
love to
gonna believe
read. I'm very
where
smart,
this
love to
goes.
read. And then after I'm ready to go, I go ahead and, do my work, do my job. I don't need to show you that, guys, but I like to add in little flower petals. I feel like they attach the scent and make it last longer. And when I'm finally finished with my jar, I like to leave a personalized note. I want to thank you so much to the 97 people who've already purchased their jar of farts. And as you know, they're on sale right now, 50% off with $1,000. So go to my Unfiltered and check it.
She said they're 50. They are 50% off is $1,000 or 50% off 1,000.
Well, this woman Stephanie was making in Canadian money $65,000 a week from selling farts in a jar.
Oh my God! Do you guys think that I could monetize?
No. I mean,
Why not?
I mean, there's a market for sure.
Obviously.
yeah.
For sure. And your farts would last on that rose petal, let me tell you. That rose petal would be wilted.
Guys, there's a gap in the market here that needs to be exploited.
Well, you might want to just take pause on that, because there's a reason why I brought her into What the Health, and it's not
This is
because
the reason why I know
it's
about
not
this.
because she farts in a jar and makes money. Stephanie Motto,
This has got to be on your mom. They've got to be talking
they
about this on
haven't
your
covered her
mom's.
yet,
Wow.
and I can't wait until they do. Stephanie Motto has revealed that she was rushed to the hospital because of her job of selling farts in a jar.
Because she was eating way too many fucking
Stephanie Motto
gastrointestinal shit.
recently shed light on her unusual stream of income, explaining how she utilized her 260K strong following as her customer base to sell her pungent product, which retailed at a pricely $1,000 a jar. At one point, demand was so high for Stephanie's wind that she was producing up to 50 jars worth of farts a week. However, she may have squeezed out one too many, as the reality star had to make a hospital dash. She told Jam Press, quote, "I thought I was having a stroke and that these were my final moments. I was overdoing it." Stephanie, who is 31, recalled how she consumed 3 protein shakes and a huge bowl of black beans soup in one day.
Guys, I'm 31.
Yeah, before feeling that, quote, something was not right, with a pressure in her stomach that moved upwards throughout her body.
I have to say, guys, honestly, I'm really proud of her, because like it would be
get
really
it.
easy.
Go get it.
It would be
Guys.
really easy to fake it, like put those videos out,
She was not faking it.
act like you're
Yeah.
doing all that stuff, and like buy.
Because here's the thing that I wonder: if I
get
bought
some
that jar
fart
from
spray.
her, if I bought that jar from her, and that showed up in the mail, let's say she, I guess she lives in the States, right? So let's say she lives in LA, and I order a fart in a jar, and let's say it takes 2 weeks for that fart in a jar to arrive at my doorstep.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to open that jar and smell fart? Like, does the fart,
I think
like,
it does.
is it literally fart poo poo smell
I don't
that
know,
stays
guys,
in
but
there?
guy, I don't even need to change my diet.
Yeah. Dude.
I'm protected. I'm insulated from this problem.
She said, quote, "It was quite hard to breathe, and every time I tried to breathe, I'd feel pinching sensation around my heart. And that, of course, made my anxiety escalate. I actually called my friend and asked if they could come over to drive me to the hospital because I thought I was experiencing a heart attack." Stephanie, who hails from Connecticut, even closer, Connecticut, arrived at the hospital later that evening, but didn't tell the doctors about her unique career, only the changes made to her diet. Quote, "It was made clear that what I was experiencing was not a stroke or a heart attack, but a very intense gas pains," she said. "I was advised to change my diet and take a gas suppressant medication, which has effectively ended my business." Stephanie has now retired from selling farts in a jar.
Well, she doesn't retire. She just sell less of them.
She can't do it
You're
anymore,
not farting.
which is a relief to her family. But she has managed to find another unique way of making money from it by introducing farts in a jar NFTs. So you can now buy,
Fuck
and
me.
I'm just, I'm plugging this for her. So
Jared bought one already. That's
yeah,
fine.
yeah. This is my third NFT. Is a fart in a jar NFT.
Is there going to be a consolidation? Hopefully the price goes up.
I mean, that's the hope, Farts in a jar. Sorry, it is fartjarsnft.com.
Guys, the word fart is just way too much.
I gotta say though, so go to fartjarsnft.com. These actually are really great NFTs. Like, I
Are
really
they?
like
Let
them.
me see.
Yeah, they're fucking hilarious. Like, it's all these different jars with faces on them and toots inside them, and they're cute little characters. They look like Pixar animation fart jars.
And
That is the bum.
I
cap
love
one is
I
great.
love the transition of
And they're only 0.05 ETH right now, so
oh right. I love the transition
Which
of
is
calling
like a lot.
0.05.
0.05 ETH?
Probably like,
0.05 ETH.
no, it's probably like $75, $100 maybe.
No, it's more than that.
I got 0.05 ETH. I should buy one.
You should actually buy one, Bri.
I love how images are just now NFTs.
Somewhere. Sora,
Summer.
links are NFTs.
Hey, do you want this URL? You want to own this URL?
They are $161 US right now.
That was pretty close.
Yep. So, yeah, farts in a jar, NFTs. Well, folks, this was fun.
That was fun.
This was very fun. And if you want to continue joining us on the fun train, We are over at YouTube. You can subscribe, hit the bell icon where you can see this content and follow along. But hey, you know what? If you're not on YouTube, but you're listening on Spotify, guess what? You can leave a rating on Spotify now. So we'd love it if you went over to Spotify, even if you don't use Spotify, but you have it on your phone. Go to Spotify and leave a rating. It's just below our page, our main page there. You'll see the little star rating thing. And of course, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts and you haven't done it yet, leave a rating and a review there. We'd love to read your reviews.
I just did that fast.
You just did it right there.
Wow,
yeah.
that's
yeah. What'd you
amazing.
rate us?
4.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
not helpful.
That's interesting.
There's 5 stars there.
You're on the show.
I think it's we could do better.
And if you want to further support the podcast, there's going to be ways in the future you can do that.
NFTs.
We've been, well, maybe. Honestly, I think we should talk about Sick Boy NFTs.
I also
And,
think that we should build our own blockchain.
And a gaming channel.
Yeah, we were talking about that. We'll see if I want to do it.
Yeah,
we might do it. But also we've been talking, and we haven't done this publicly yet, but we're also talking about opening up our Discord to the public. And we would love to have you over there. If you're someone who utilizes Discord, it's a fucking awesome platform that allows people to interact with a whole community of folks. And right now we have a thriving Discord that is exclusive through our Patreon, but there's talks about maybe opening that up to the public so we can have even more fun discourse with folks that listen to the podcast from all over the world.
We will do that, but also the folks on Patreon
Yeah,
already will still have their own
We're
place.
gonna have a special place for you because
Special.
you're all special.
on Discord.
Yeah.
That's right.
Still.
And I think that if today's episode has taught me anything, it's that everything that you're throwing in the trash could be sold online. So whatever you're throwing out, don't throw it out. Find a market for it. There's an oddball out there who will pay top dollar for it. And I personally would love to know the weirdest thing that you've ever sold to somebody. And you can do that by sending us a letter. Letters at sickboypodcast.com.
I like this. We'll go with, for 2022, a new theme of asking for these really interesting letters based on these really interesting questions that you ask.
Yeah.
So I think that's great.
The weirdest thing that you've ever sold to somebody.
I sold this week my dog crate on Facebook Marketplace. I didn't realize how it was the first thing I sold on it. And it was really easy.
Right.
Right on.
Yeah.
And if you want to be a guest on the show, you can do that at sickboypodcast.com/contact.
Thank you, as always, to the people who make this show happen. Jeff Lonis, our manager, Rich O'Coin for the theme music, and everybody else. We love you.
That is it for this week.
I'm Brian.
I'm Taylor.
And I'm Jeremy, and this is Sick Boy.